Welcome to this series, trying to locate the sons of Noah and where they really went to. I decided to listen to some suggestions from the viewers and subscribers to do a better summary than what I did for this series, to end this first series, and yeah, a suggestion to maybe do some maps of what we've learned. So that's what we're going to try to do. And so we looked at this traditional accepted viewpoint of biblical scholars for the three sons of Noah. These three spheres. We spoke about this for Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And yeah, we spoke about how we were fine with the sphere of Japheth, and the sphere of Ham also made sense, but it was the sphere of Shem that we had issues with. And yeah, when we looked at the book of Jubilees, how it described the land of Shem, that we seem to have some discrepancies with this sphere. With the land of Shem being described as a blessed land and a spacious land, and a land that's neither hot nor cold. But this land of Shem, it's in this region is quite hot and arid. So yeah, we had some issues with that. And the first part, looking for an Aramaean kingdom, it brought us into Africa, and Aram, son of Shem. So I just did a simple map to show the theory for what this channel is presenting is leaving the sphere of Japheth as it is for the northern hemisphere, but changing the sphere of Ham with the sphere of Shem. And I know it's not as good as this map, but yeah, just a simple map to try to show what we were speaking about. And then does this make more sense? Does this hold up under scrutiny? And yeah, that's what we're going to try to see. And so in this video, I just want to speak about something to try elaborate on this, because I had this question from Alicia Maria. It seems like she's a bit confused with the Persians. Who are they, and when did they get there? And also this who are the Europeans, these European tribes, because I can understand why this would be confusing thinking about these Persians, because if you think about what we've been presented with this Persian Empire, this is the map of the Persian Empire, and we think about the modern country of Iran, that there's people in Iran that speak Persian. So we've got this connection with Persia here, in modern day Iran. And if we look at some of the pictures, so these are some pictures of some faces from Iran, and these are some faces from Afghanistan, of the Afghans. So Iran and Afghanistan would make up quite a large part of this Persian Empire. And I think this is where it gets confusing, because then if we go to a source to try to learn about the Medes and the Persians, I came across this source, and it says ancient Media and Persia were Kushite. And then this is when it starts to get confusing, when you think about what we've been presented with, and the people that are living in the in the region today, which is considered Persia, ancient Persia. And then you come across a source like this that's saying ancient Media and Persia were Kushite, and it says the Code of Manu of India said that the Persians were originally one of the divisions of their race, so a connection with the Persians and Indians. And it says the Iranian legends said that the whole region of ancient Persia to India was inhabited by a race of black men with short woolly hair. So I think this is what gets confusing, and what Alicia is speaking about, because speaking about these Ethiopians in this region, the so-called Middle East, because when the Greeks started coming to these regions, they described the people that they saw as Ethiopian, but we spoke about how they described Eastern Ethiopians and also Western Ethiopians, and that a lot of people, well, most of this region to the south, inhabited by Ethiopians according to Greek sources. And similar to what this source is saying about this Iranian legend, that the whole region of ancient Persia to India inhabited what you could describe as Cushitic or Ethiopian people. So if we look at that on the map, if we say from India to Persia being inhabited by Cushitic people or Ethiopian people, yeah, that's it makes you wonder about the people that are there today, because we wouldn't describe these people as being Ethiopian or Kushite. So this is why it gets a bit confusing about who are these who are the ancient Persians, and what's happening here. Because I want to bring up this point with the map for Shem, because if you think about what that source says about from India to Persia being inhabited by, let's say, Ethiopian people, but then we also have to remember that the kingdom of Kush, or the Sabian kingdom, was both sides of the Red Sea. So we also have a major Kushite kingdom here in this region. So you can see that a lot of this sphere of Shem, is actually being inhabited by Ethiopians. According to the sources, you've got this large region here being described as being inhabited by Ethiopian, Ethiopian people or Cushitic people, and you're also going to have large parts of this part of the sphere also being inhabited by Ethiopian people. So where are the Shemites? Where would the Shemites be living? So I just wanted to bring up that example to show another reason why there seems to be discrepancies with this sphere for Shem. Who were the Shemites? Because if you think about what we presented with, who traditionally the Shemites are associated with the people in the Middle East, and but then when you hear these ancient sources that this region was actually inhabited by people who were described as Ethiopian, then it makes you wonder where are the Shemites, or who are the Shemites? And so that's why putting forward this theory for these spheres and see if it makes sense, because now we can see when we put Ham here, it still makes sense with the description from Jubilees, how it says that the land of Ham is hot. Now we can see that Ham is still living in a hot region here, even though we changed it around, so that still makes sense for Ham. And we still see that the sphere has Libya and Egypt, and then it has the kingdom of Kush, and then you can also see how that would make sense, how you could have Kushites living in this region going towards India, and you could even have the like you have the Hindu Kush mountain range in the sphere of Ham, and it would make sense when the when the Greeks are coming into this region, how they would be seeing Ethiopians, if this is the sphere of Ham. So that makes sense. And then you've got the land of Shem, and that seems to work with the book of Jubilees, saying that the land of Shem is a blessed land, and everything in it is good, and also being neither hot nor cold. So what do you think about these spheres? I know there's different opinions out there about this, but I'd like to get some of your thoughts about this. If you've got any questions or any ideas to add, so we can think about what we need to cover and speak about, because I can understand if people are still a bit confused about the Persians. Who are the Persians, and where did they go to, or where did they come from? Because it doesn't make sense when we look at the people that are inhabiting what we know or been told as Persia, but they're not looking like the descriptions of some of these sources that we're reading, that the Medes and the Persians being described as Kushite. And another thing I wanted to speak about is, why do we have these spheres, these three spheres, dominated in this region? On this map, and also on this map that I've done, we've got these spheres here. What about why are we ignoring these regions here, like Russia and Japan and China? What about America and South America? Why are these spheres only here? So I just want to put two ideas forward to answer that. I think one is going to be about, where did the ark come to rest? Which mountain did the ark come to rest? Because that would be where the three suns would start. And I think it's happening in this part of the world. So that's one reason why these spheres would be dominating in this region, because of where the ark came to rest. And a second reason I'll put forward is also to do with the Tower of Babel, because we know that God's command was for all the tribes to spread, and for the whole earth to be filled, but they they didn't obey, and they came together at Babel to build the Tower of Babel under Nimrod, so that all the people were coming together, not spreading out. And so So we presented with that Babel, the Tower of Babel is here in modern day Iraq, but we were looking in this region of Nubia. But still, either way, you can see how it would make that, the Babel and Babylon would be, like a center of the ancient world, with all the princes coming under Nimrod, and Babylon would be, like a hub for the ancient world and like a beginning point for civilization. So recorded history is going to be starting in that region. So that's a few reasons why these spheres we have here is because I think this is where the beginning point for the three sons are going to be, and also Babylon and Babel, and the starting points of of civilization. So it's, things are going to be starting here and then spreading out from here. So that's why I've got these three spheres in this region. But I think depending on what comments we get from this video and what ideas and questions, I don't want to promise anything, but if we get a chance, I'll try see if we can do a video and just do a map for this sphere of Japheth, and do a map for this for Shem, and do a map for Ham, individually, and try to see what we can cover and recap from the series and what we've learned. And also, if there's any questions, we'll try to think about that. And maybe I'll try to answer a bit more of this question about, who are the Persians. And we'll speak about that if we do a video on, if we do a map for Shem. I'll speak about that again with the Persians and the Medes. Why are they described as Cushite? And we have spoken quite a bit about this in the first series. So, if you've watched the first series, you might, know why they're described as Cushite. And, why we do have this confusion about, these faces that are here in this region. But, we haven't spoken about all these different things because, the idea of the first series was just to get a bit of a general over picture for all the sons of Noah. And, we didn't go into detail on every single kingdom and all, I mean, you can't really draw three circles and think that's going to cover all of history and answer all of history. So it's just these circles just to give us a general idea of the spheres of influence. You can't really it can't answer and cover all of history with these three spheres, but it's just to give us something to work with and to build from. So I think I'll leave it for that in this video. This is what the theory is that we're putting forward on this channel, is that these spheres of Shem and Ham need to be switched around, and that's Shem in this region doesn't seem to make sense, and we're finding discrepancies and things that don't add up, and maybe we'll speak about a few more things as well that don't seem to make sense for this, because another important thing is when you move this sphere, it impacts on the people. Because in the first series we only really spoke about the where. We were looking at the where. We didn't really speak about that much about the who. But when you move the sphere, it kind of influences the who. So now if we put Shem in this region, then it influences the who. Who are the Shemites? And even though we haven't quite spoken about that, when you put the sphere here, it does it kind of points to who is the who for Shem. So we haven't spoken about that, but maybe we're going to have to start speaking about that as well. So please, if you would like to share any of your comments or thoughts on these spheres, and also if you've got any questions like Alicia, don't be afraid to say if you're confused about some of the stuff like the Persians, or maybe you're not sure about some teachings out there. Don't be afraid to ask some questions. To help guide the channel and guide the study. And we'll see how this goes with this theory, and what holds up and what doesn't. So thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.